Hello teacher, and very welcome to this video. This time continuing with suprasegmental features. I am going to speak how intensive oral practice of intonation, stress and rhythm can help us acquire proficiency in speaking and in the listening comprehension. Alrighty, my name is Nelson Castro and I am going to speak a little bit about this practice and how we can just go with it. Alright, so one of the exercises as practice was identifying intonation. So in this case, we have a list of words and I am going to read the words, each one of them, and I am going to place if they are rising or falling intonations. Alrighty, so on the first line, we have 4 words. Ready, yes, no, problems. In this case, ready. Ready goes up. Ready goes up. It's a rise intonation. Yes, no, problems. Babysitter, what? Trouble, problems, some, coming, stay, maybe, maybe. Alright, so there are some rising intonation and falling intonations. Following that, there is another exercise in which the rising and the falling of the same word can change the meaning of it. So in this case, for example, we have a WH question in a very short conversation. There is a person A and a person B. Conversation 1. So what are you going to do for Christmas break? I'm going to California. Where? San Francisco. Conversation 2. So what are you going to do for Christmas break? I'm going to California. Where? California. So in this, the intonation meanings of the word where with a rising intonation means clarification or curiosity. On the second question, where, with falling intonation means direct question or doubt. Well, another exercise is to represent the word stress. So there are different ways we can represent it. So we can use word stress by having stress syllables in capitals. There are some of the words that have multiple stress, and in this case, the secondary stress is also shown by capitals but smaller font size. In the word presidential, the stress on the first part, pre, and then the secondary stress is den. Also, there are words that can be stressed by capitals and bold, as well as capitals, but not bold, for the primary stress and the secondary stress, respectively. In the word presidential, we have pre, the first stress, and then the secondary stress, but it's not bold. Other ways that we can show where the stress or the emphasis is made within a word is using big dots. Big dots or small size dots to show where the stress is being placed. So for example, we can say presidential, being then, in this case, the primary stress, and the secondary stress is the second smallest. As it shows, then in the word presidential is the primary stress because the dot is the biggest on this part, and the secondary stress is shown placing a smaller dot on the first part, which is pre. So there are some rules that I need to keep in mind when it comes to word stress. Rule number 1 says that the key syllable is stressed when a word ends in a consonant. There are different consonants that are followed by vowels, sounds. So it could be ia, io, u, yen, etc. So for example, in the word presidential, commotion, genius, contribution, conscience. Rule number 2 is about those adjectives that end in al, os, or nouns ending in and, ends, ency, end, and ends should be stressed on the left syllable if the key syllable is spelled vowel or followed by a consonant. When we say, for example, federal, marvelous, elegant, vigilance, vacancy, precedence, in these words, then we have the stressed parts. Rule number 3 says that words that have more than 3 syllables and they end in a Y, in E, 8, aided, aider, 18, AC, ACs, they have left stress. This means that key needs to be found and then the syllable to the left that is stressed. For example, when we say company, fortunate, obligated, alligator, accuracy, fallacies. So those words have the stress on that part. Rule number 4, words that end in airy, airy, ori, eve, ur, ative, aturi, ature, should have a key sounds on the left or key stress on the left, has a prefix or part of a prefix such as the, per, ob, and ex. So examples of words without prefix: debauchery, obligatory, persuasive, and examples of words without a prefix: auditory, plenary. Alright, so then that is the practice. Okay, following, I am going to read this passage, which is called Preparation for Disasters. Cities, states, and nations must always live with a high degree of readiness for disasters such as hurricanes, furious storms, earthquakes, and a wide variety of man-made problems. These emergencies often create large complications in normal life. Characteristically, at these times, electrical power is knocked out and large numbers of people are reduced to living at a basic level, one where Hard, constant physical labor becomes a necessity, and where people show both selfish and altruistic behavior, medical clinics are more likely to be closed because of damage. The economic base is also likely to be compromised, so that even things such as buying bread, milk and ice require long waits and frequent dissatisfaction. For these reasons, whenever such a difficulty hits, sufficient civic preparation is critical. In this case, I am going to practice. Jack and Jill went uphill to fetch a pail of water. Jack fell down and broke his crown, and Jill came tumbling after. Up Jack got, and home did trot, as fast as he could caper, to old Dame Dob, who patched his knob with vinegar and brown paper. And now, to finish with our practice of intonation, stress, and rhythm, there are two more verses I want to share with you. Number 1 says, Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall, Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. All the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty together again. Number 2 says, Hickory dickory dock, the mouse ran up the clock struck 1, and down he ran, hickory dickory dock. Alrighty friends, that has been all for now. I hope you have a great day and have a fantastic week. Thank you very much. Thank you for listening and watching.